Hi everyone, this is Mindy and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to show you how to quickly and easily add color to your die cuts. This video also kicks off the amazing STAMPtember celebration put on by Simon Says Stamp. I will have more about STAMPtember over on my blog. I'm going to be using the Etched Layered Daisy die. You can see here that it's going to have two pieces in it that are going to layer together to create a beautiful dimensional daisy. I'm starting off by die cutting this daisy from white cardstock, and I'm just going to hold those in place with some Post-it tape so they don't shift on my cardstock when I run that through the die cut machine. So while I absolutely love ink blending and typically take any chance I can get to do it, another quick and easy way to add color to your die cuts is by just grabbing your copic markers or maybe your zig markers, any coloring medium that you have and enjoy using. I am using my copic markers, and since I wanted this to be a white daisy, I am coloring over those etched lines that are on my die cut just using a C2 marker, so it's a really light gray. And then I'm coloring over the center of the flower with three different shades of yellow. So not only are we giving dimension to this daisy by die cutting it from multiple pieces of cardstock, we're also giving it dimension by adding color. Then you can see how great this is going to look when you layer it on top. Now that I have my daisy, I'm going to create a background for my daisy. I'm going to do this in two steps. So first, I'm going to add ink to my background. I have some Neenah Solar White cardstock. This is 80 pound, and I am going to ink blend on a rainbow of colors. So I started with KITSCH Flamingo, then dried marigold, and squeezed lemonade. I'm also going to add twisted citron, bring in a little bit of salvaged patina, and then some wilted violet. And I just kind of went backwards, I guess, on my cardstock instead of a typical rainbow order. I'm also not being really careful about how I'm applying the ink. I'm just doing it very light-handedly, but it doesn't have to be blended perfectly because we are going to add a stencil on top. The stencil that I'm going to use today is the Tap Dance stencil, and this is a really fun stencil because you can turn it any which way, flip it over. It all is going to look amazing no matter which direction you put it. To do my ink blending through the stencil, I am using my Make Art Station, and I'm holding the stencil down with the magnets that come with the Make Art Station. And I'm starting off at the top corner again, which is where the KITSCH Flamingo was, and I applied a little bit of the wilted violet. Then I came in with the dried marigold, and I'm doing that over the yellow. So I'm kind of giving some contrast color on top of the color that's underneath. So I have orange on top of the yellow, and then I did a little bit of the salvaged patina on top of that twisted citron, and finishing off with the wilted violet at the top. Once I have all of my color applied, I can remove the magnets and pick up my stencil, and I have this really great background. I also kind of want to point out that if you're into kind of a mixed media look, this stencil would be great for that. Now to die cut out my panel, I am going to use this waffle flower die. This is an A2 layering panels die, and I love the variety I have on here of the different sizes that I can die cut out. I'm going to line that up over my background and use my Post-it tape to hold that down and run that through the die cut machine. I'm really a huge fan of using dies to die cut out my front panels because, for one, I don't always hold my paper great in my paper trimmer, so this ensures that everything is cut perfectly. I have beautiful edges, and it's sized perfectly as well, so there's no error in the size. Next, I'm bringing out my splat box, and I have some starry colors here that I added a couple drips of water to. I picked up that starry colors onto an acrylic block, and I'm flicking it onto my background. I do like to bring out my splat box when I'm doing this because it really does catch any of the excess flicks, and I'm not cleaning my mat. I just don't always show it on screen because, as you can see, it's a little hard to get into the camera view. And then I also did bring in a little bit of the white as well. Then I'm going to set it off on the side to dry for a little while, and I will show you a close-up here of what this background looks like. It's really great with all those flicks on there. You don't have to add the flicks. I just think that's a really fun kind of mixed media look without me really having to think too hard about mixed media. But you could totally leave the flicks off if you prefer more of a clean style. For sentiment, I'm going to use the reverse sentiment strips, and this is Sunshine and Rainbows. It has a lot of really fun and encouraging sentiments on here. This is printed with on white cardstock with black toner, and I love the crisp black that this is, and the black does not rub off if I rub too hard on it. I've noticed in the past that some other toner printed papers like this, that toner rubs off, but the Simon Says Stamp ones do not. But you can also foil these if you really want. So I die cut that out with the Sentiment Labels die, and I'm just taking my black Copic marker and coloring the very edges, because like I said, this was printed on white cardstock with black toner. So that just kind of gives it a finished look. To add a little bit of dimension to my card, I trimmed down 3 more pieces of heavyweight cardstock that is the same size as that stenciled panel, and then I added it to a white card base that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now I'm taking that bottom layer of this etched layered daisy and I added it to the front with my Simon Says Stamp tape runner, and I'm taking some foam squares and adding them to the back of the top layer of my daisy. Then I can place this right on top, and this looks so cool all put together, pretty realistic for a die cut. Now for adding my sentiment strip, I am going to use 2 black foam squares, and I am being mindful where I'm placing those black squares. We already added foam to the back of the top layer of the daisy, so I don't want to add any more dimension to it. I just want this to lay kind of across that pretty flat. So I'm just being mindful of where I put those black foam squares, and once I'm happy with that placement, I'll remove the backing and add that to the front of the card. Now, no card would be complete for me without adding a few gems to this, so I'm just going to take my Trinity pickup tool and some liquid glue, and I'm going to be adding some of the Studio Katia iridescent gems. And they really do have this beautiful iridescent that picks up the color behind it. So that finishes up my card for you today. I will have all of the supplies listed down below in the video description and over on my blog as well, along with some more pictures of my card. I'm so excited for STAMPtember put on by Simon Says Stamp, and I can't wait to share with you other projects and videos that I've been working on. If you would like to subscribe to my channel so you never miss another video, go ahead and click on that subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell so you are notified when new videos are posted. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again real soon.